I started my business through journaling. I created within a real, tangible, physical product through journaling. I made my first six-figure year through the process of journaling. Maybe you're looking for ways to get more creative. Maybe your friends are all journaling and having these beautiful, bright, revealing revelations, and you want that for yourself too. Maybe you're trying to dive into writing. Whatever the case may be, if you clicked on this video, you are curious how to start the process of journaling. It has been a 3.5, almost 4-year process of uncovering what journaling can do for me, what my inner voice sounds like, and it has brought me to clarity and answers that feel aligned and resonant to my soul every single time. Journaling, no matter what form it takes for you, can definitely open up a world of possibilities to self-discovery, to knowing yourself more deeply, to making important decisions. Any and all of it, it can be right here within these pages. So I'm gonna walk you through my process for how to journal. Of course, journaling is a subjective, creative process. It's going to look a bit differently for everyone. This is how I do it on a day-to-day basis. If you're looking for a great foundational place to start journaling, this is a really good video for you. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes. I'm actually looking at this page in particular within my self-reflection journal that I created about 2.5 years ago to help people like yourself uncover the world of possibilities that journaling can open up. Of course, you don't have to use within. You can use any journal that you want. All of the information in this video is still going to be applicable to you. But if you see me looking down, referencing notes, just know that I'm referencing the how to use your journal page in within. Okay, let's dive in. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is carve out a sacred space. And I start with that instead of purchase a journal or get a good pen, because it all feels wrapped up in this one step. Carving out a sacred space means creating an environment in your home. It could be outside, wherever feels most resonant and aligned to you, to open up to the world of journaling. What's in your sacred space could look a lot differently than what's in mine. For me personally, I'm filming this video because this is the space every single morning that I decide to sit and do my journaling. The art inspires me, the warmth inspires me. I usually like to light a candle and make the space feel really, really good. Sometimes I'll burn sage or Palo Santo or incense, but that's just because I like the journaling to take on a spiritual practice. You do what feels good for you. Now, when you're carving out this sacred space, this also includes the vessel in which all of your words will be housed. I use within every single day just because it has all of the elements that I look for in a journal, but maybe you want something leather bound. Maybe you prefer college ruled over wide ruled. Go out and get something that makes you feel inspired, that makes you feel invigorated to start journaling. And that includes your pen too. You want the process to flow. So you want the paper to feel good under the weight of your pen. You might have a preference of gel versus ink. Make sure that you're setting up the space to your advantage so that those moments when you show up to your journaling practice and you're like, I just don't want to be here, the environment isn't one more thing adding to the downfall or the detriment of you stepping away from your journaling practice, because there is so much goodness, so much richness, so much information and discovery to be found on these pages. Do whatever feels right to you, but carve out a sacred space. And I use the word sacred because it really is just that. It is a place for you to connect with you, your inner voice, your intuition, your guide. Make that an intentional practice. Another practice that I am really adamant about when you're journaling is to show up to the practice. So it's not just about the fancy notebook and the pen and making sure everything is positioned just right. Mood follows action. I'm all here for the mood, the aesthetic. Step number 1 was create a sacred space for a reason, but there are going to be days when you don't feel like writing in your journal. There are going to be days when you feel hopeless about the practice as a whole and what it can open up for you. The point is to commit to a journaling practice. practice. I can bet good money that if you feel called to journaling at all, it's because there is a part of you that has scribe energy that processes through writing. And if you feel called to this practice, I'm sure that something will open up for you. I recommend journaling daily. This could be 5 minutes, this could be an hour and a half, whatever feels good for you. You might strengthen the muscle over time and find that working at a shorter amount of time when you're just starting out works better for you. And as you strengthen that muscle, you get deeper and deeper into the practice and can go for longer and longer. But the commitment is the important part. Commit to showing up to these pages, commit to yourself, commit to what this practice could open up for you. The next piece of advice or tip that I have for you is that if you don't know where to start, consider using a prompt. Within has over 100 prompts in a few different categories, ranging from career to creativity to confidence to wellness and health. It really runs the gamut as far as prompts go. But one of the most powerful things that I have uncovered in my journaling practice is the simple step of asking myself a question. When I have a question there in front of me and I allow myself to come to my own conclusions, my own answers, 10 times out of 10, it is the most grounded, true for me, right response possible. For example, this morning, something that I was really struggling with was figuring out specifics of my purpose, specifics of my dreams. It felt like I could visualize like pieces of the future, but the whole picture wasn't completely clear. I wrote the simple question at the top of my page: what does success look like for me? And I just started stream of consciousness, letting out whatever wanted to come out. That's one of the most important things about journaling, is that there can't be any judgment. This is a process that might be brand new to you, or it's something that you might not have picked up in a while. Coming to your journaling practice as open as you possibly can is going to set you up for the clarity that you seek, for knowing yourself more deeply. So we want to make journaling a zero judgment zone. If you're looking at a blank page in front of you and you're like, I don't know what to write, consider looking up a prompt. There are tons on Pinterest. There are plenty in Within. Another tool or resource that I really like is guided journaling books. A lot of you may have already heard of the 5-minute journal. It's a short time commitment. It has guided prompts every single day. It's a beautiful, lovely place to start. One of the first ways that I got started journaling was through a book called The Artist's Way. Now, The Artist's Way isn't catered specifically towards journaling. It's more so a practice of unleashing your creativity. But one thing that the author, Julia Cameron, argues for is something called the morning pages. It's this idea that you show up every single day to your pages in whatever state you're in and just get 3 pages out. It doesn't matter if it's lamenting, it doesn't matter if it's profound ideas. There's no real rhyme or reason to the 3 pages. The point is to get all of the gunk out, all of the self-criticism, all of the doubt, everything onto the page so that you can slowly start to hear not fear and anxiety, but your intuitive inner voice, the one that always leads you to the right path, the one that always speaks clearly, the one that always has your best interest at heart. Once those answers find you, my next recommendation for journaling is to commit to what comes up, or commit to the stillness. You might get into your journaling practice, start writing your pages, lead with a prompt, feel really good, and then read the lines back and think, what in the world am I thinking? It can be this internal war between what clarity you find in your journal, whether it's about creativity or career or just musings of the everyday. It can be really easy to say, no, that's not right. But I want you to anchor in. I want you to recommit to your purpose, to why you're doing this, and recognize that you can trust yourself. I know it doesn't always feel safe. I know the world tells us that we're supposed to do things a certain way. And when something bubbles up internally that completely negates that, we want to shove it aside and say, no, anything but that, but commit to the stillness, commit to the practice. Replay this video if you have to. You can trust yourself. I want to reiterate the idea that there is no right way to do this, but as you start beefing up the practice and getting more into the thick of it, one thing that I like to do is I like to jot down key takeaways. There's a specific section in Within dedicated to key takeaways at the top, because what I found was that when I was journaling, there would be little sparks of light that would come to me in this process, either amazing ideas that I had, or sometimes it's as silly as a ping or a little flash to reach out to somebody, or to send an email, or confirmation for a big decision that you were contemplating. I will jot those down at the top of the key takeaways section, just so that if I ever am going back and reflecting on my journaling, I can know where I was at in that moment and not forget the important things. My last piece of advice, if you want to start journaling, is gonna be a little trite, a little banal, but it's to get creative. You can use this video as a foundational starting place for getting into the practice of journaling. The truth is that journaling is a practice all your own. It doesn't have to look like my journal does. It doesn't have to look like your profound spiritual friend's journal does. It can look whatever way you want it to. I like to think of journaling as one of these beautiful vehicles in a sea of beautiful vehicles. The vehicle we're talking about is journaling, but that could be dance for you. It could be writing songs. It could be poetry. It could be whatever calls to you. But if you landed on this video, if you clicked on it, I'm guessing that something about the process of taking pen to paper amplifies you, fuels you, brings clarity to you. And so we owe it to ourselves to at least explore what that looks like, and then also open up that field of view to see what other possibilities and potential lie in store. This space is completely yours. Get creative, have fun with it. Sometimes I'll doodle in the margins of my journal. Sometimes I use colored pencils. It doesn't have to be one solitary thing. That's the beauty of this practice. It can be whatever you need it to be in whatever moment you need. That's it. My tips on journaling, they are a little bit loose, but that's because I believe that this practice is loose. It's not one-dimensional. It is so multifaceted and so beautiful. I started my business through journaling. I created Within, a real, tangible, physical product through journaling. I made my first six-figure year through the process of journaling. I decided to completely pivot my business through the process of journaling. I decided to take a chance on YouTube through journaling. I met some of my closest connections through journaling. Journaling is the thing that anchors me back home to myself every single day when the world gets crazy and chaotic and scary. If I've found so much peace and joy and beauty through this process, I know you can too. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll leave links to everything that I spoke about in the description box below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me directly. And until then, remember, you can trust yourself. You can trust the answers that you find during journaling. And when all else fails, know that I'm rooting for you. We'll see you soon.